everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jolene and this is Jovi's Star Astrology. I appreciate you being here. We are going to talk about this lunar eclipse in Scorpio here in just a minute. But first, I want to thank you for sure for being here. And if you have not subscribed, I would appreciate it if you subscribed, liked, and shared. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I put out videos. That helps me as I build the channel, and I'm super grateful for that. Also, I am going to be putting out a video on the Neptune and Pisces energy that we have all been dealing with since the beginning of the year. I promised to do that. This is a video collaboration highlighting one of the more positive effects of these conjunctions in the energy, the Neptune and Jupiter conjunction, Venus coming into contact with Neptune, and what I believe is a very positive expression, and sort of one of the things that is intended, the universe intended for us to do when we talk about expanding our spirituality and our compassion and creativity and things like that, all to create social healing and connectedness and things like that. So I'm going to be putting that video out here a little bit later, so look for that. So to this eclipse, I've heard from a lot of people in the last few days. Some, have had very significant emotional issues come up. Some, feeling just a little off and wonky. Some, experiencing or witnessing issues, things that have come up for loved ones or people close to them, and just kind of wondering what the heck's going on. So I would like to offer all of you a special pricing on a transit reading. So a transit reading is just taking a look at what's going on as compared to your astrological blueprint, and what's transiting around that and how that's affecting you currently, for $44.44 for a transit reading. Now, if you have not had a birth chart reading done yet with me, I will offer that $44.44 for the transit reading. I will allow that to be applied to a full birth chart reading as long as that reading is done within 45 days of the transit reading. So you can apply that amount to the cost of a full birth chart reading. If you are a current client and I have looked at your birth chart, this $44.44 transit reading offer is available to you as well. Head over to my website at jovisstar.com. That's JOVESSTAR.com. Send me a message through the contact section. I'll get back to you and we'll get you scheduled. My readings come with a recording by request, so I do them live via Zoom so we can chat, and then I will record it. Just remind me when we start the session to hit the record button, and also will come with a written generated report on the basic descriptions of what it is that we talked about during the reading. Okay. So let's talk about this eclipse. So we have the South Node lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and this is the first lunar eclipse during this nodal transit of Taurus and Scorpio that began at the end of January and will continue through July of 2023. We have the new moon Taurus solar eclipse on May 30th, which is a kickoff of a new cycle. Now these nodes have not transited in these signs for 18 years. So we're talking about reviewing and bringing to a close a cycle that of things that could have been occurring in your life or did occur in your life anywhere back through 18 years ago. And now a new cycle is starting. So that new moon solar eclipse started that new cycle, and we've chosen to go down different paths. Many of us have, in the last few years. It's like we were looking for something that means, we've taken a look at what does life mean to me? You know, am I where I want to be? Do I want to take a different path based on our experiences? And so we're starting a new cycle, and to do that, it's necessary to clear out the old cycle. So the universe is reminding us things that we're responsible for, things that we may have missed along the way, or just overall karma, emotions, whatever, that things that have to be cleared out so that we can start brand new on this cycle coming up. Now, not everybody's feeling it significantly. If you are a Taurus or a Scorpio, or you have placements in Taurus and Scorpio, anywhere from, we're looking at degrees from like 22 degrees where the nodes are sitting to 28, 29 degrees. If you have personal planets or points, or if it's on the angles, ascendant, descendant, you know, your IC, which is the foundation, and your MC, which is what you're growing into, between those degrees, this eclipse will be significant for you. So also that would include the fixed signs too, because they're going to be, you know, on the other end of the cross there. And the other two fixed signs would be Leo and Aquarius. So again, Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, 22 degrees to about 28, 29 degrees, personal planets, angles, or points in the chart may feel this more significantly and profoundly. So yeah, let's get into you know, what this all means. So again, things coming up from the past to be cleared. So when we're talking about Scorpio energy, we're talking about things that are deeply significant, emotional, hidden even at times, coming up, not always the coziest energy to deal with. The moon in Scorpio is in its fall, so it is not in a great place. So, you know, this is, you know, this is a bit murky, right? It can be a bit dark, but the thing about you know, having things like that come up to be cleared is that, you know, it's sort of a clean slate. You know, it's like, you know, having something that needs to go, that's sort of decayed and icky, come up for us to deal with. Doesn't feel good, but once we clear it out of the way, we feel a lot lighter, a lot better, and we can move forward, you know, in you know, a much more light, you know, a lighter feeling place. So yeah, endings as well. So just a lot of heavy things, emotional endings, karmic clearing, also money. This is the axis that deals with finances and debts. So intimate partnerships, sex, all of those things that you know, can really be very significant and impactful to us. So I'm going to go through and talk about where this eclipse is landing for each rising sign, and give you a bit of an idea of how this might affect you personally, if you don't already know, right? So we'll start with Aries. Aries is always first. So Aries rising, if you're an Aries rising, this eclipse, South Node eclipse, is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is the Scorpio house, so we're definitely talking about themes around sex, death, intimate partnerships, shared resources, you know, karmic connections, soul connections, definitely something coming up. There are endings, there's a clearing. Something has to come up and be dealt with so that it can be transformed or moved on from in some way. This is deeply emotional and psychological for Aries rising. Saturn there is squaring this, you know, reminding us there's something about how we've related to the community, organizations we've been involved in, maybe friends or acquaintances, that come into play here when these things are coming up to be cleared. We have to go back and sort of rework, or at least make sure that we've acted in integrity, that if there's something we're responsible for, we're dealing with that before we can actually move into, planting the seeds or moving along the path of what it is that we want to create for our lives in terms of value, comfort, and security. So pretty significant there for Aries rising. If you are a Taurus rising, this eclipse is happening in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. This is significant, again, talking about, maybe you're ending a relationship or a business partnership. Saturn there is squaring your 10th house of career and public image, also commitment. So, if it's romantic, this is something about, did we, is the commitment of integrity, right? Or if it's a business partnership, something coming up, like really making us think like, is this partnership really what I want? Is it holding me, down or, restricting me in some way? Something that Saturn wants us to go back and take a look at in the area of our partnerships, because, Taurus rising is changing personally, right? A lot of changes in, how you show up, your personality, how you interact in your relationships. So keep an eye out. Yes, significant relationships and partnerships. The 7th house is also the house where legal issues might come up. So something could be coming up to clear there as well. If you are a Gemini rising, this is happening in your 6th house of day-to-day routines and, health. So this is all about the details, right? This is about paying attention to your day-to-day routines and your health, how you take care of your body, how you organize your work life or structures or just, things around the house that you have to do all the time. Saturn is squaring this eclipse and, bringing your attention to, maybe what it is that you believed or what you knew or, how you actually feel about, or what you have faith in or how you feel about your connection to your own truth. Something it needs to be looked at or relearned, or your mind needs to be expanded in some way based on what might be coming up for you in the 6th house. So kind of like, all right, let's say your health. Let's say, you just kind of always clipped along. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so you're busy, you use your mind a lot, not always, grounded, in the bigger picture. And something here is coming up for you saying, you missed the details. Saturn is saying you really have to look at the bigger picture and learn more about something, and whatever's coming up there in the 6th house is you're being pulled into broadening your mind in some way. So that's an example there, Gemini rising. If you're a Cancer rising, this eclipse is happening in your 5th house of joy, creativity, children, romance. Something coming up there. This could definitely be a romantic connection of some sort, an issue coming up with a child. This is something that you may not have been aware of. The Scorpionic energy, again, isn't always the most pleasant, but something that needs to come up to be dealt with. Again, endings. We've got, romantic issues, so we've got stuff around sex, we've got death. Shared resources, something that you needed to work or rework with somebody in some way. Saturn there in your 8th house, this is saying, there might be a need to really go back and take a look at, how you are sitting psychologically, right? Like, is there a block there of some sort, creating something, something you missed? Or is it time now? Is Saturn saying, okay, it's time? Saturn also represents time. It's time to clear this or become aware of it. Before you can move forward. If it's something creative, that would be great. Fifth house is the house of joy and creative expression. Maybe something is being channeled, through you creatively that, is coming out saying, oh yeah, here I am, do something with me, make this a reality. And Saturn in the 8th house is saying, okay, well, check out the fine print. Make sure you know what the details are. Be careful who you're getting involved with. It could be a partnership of some sort. The North Node is in your 11th house, which is all about how you relate to community. Something is growing there, maybe as a result of, something professional. You're getting involved in something. And, the South Node bringing up something around children, creativity, or romance, likely. All right, Cancer rising. Okay, now we have Leo rising. So, Leo, this eclipse is happening in your 4th house of the home and family. Could be your actual physical home. Could be things like childhood trauma, family issues. Also, the 4th house represents the mother, the parents, the father in some way. Something coming up, maybe that was secret, something you didn't know, something that requires you to, end maybe a relationship, or there is an ending of a familial relationship, whether that be a biological ending or, just an emotional ending. This could also be about actually moving, needing to move. Physically, where you live. There's something here, Saturn is saying pay attention to, if you want to do this, move into some kind of a commitment, right? The North Node's in your 10th house. It's career, but it's also commitments. It's, also, how you're recognized. This could definitely be about career, but I'm thinking more along the lines of, family, parents, possibly 7th house of relationships. There are things you have to clean house around in that area of life so that you can move forward to a different level of commitment, whether that be in a career or a relationship. With something is coming up that you're being held responsible for. Again, 7th house is about legal issues. So if we're talking about buying a house, maybe something comes up and that's in the area, something legal, something from the past that you skipped or didn't quite read the fine print on, and saying, oh, you got to go back and take a look at that, until you can act, because you can't do that until you, or make a commitment to do that until you handle that issue, something like that. But on a personal level, reworking relationships or partnerships for a career, something around your foundation, home, family, childhood trauma, possibly maybe the mother, father. All right, that is Leo rising. All right, let's get this to Virgo rising. So if you are a Virgo rising, this is happening in your 3rd house of the mind and communication. Short trips, so cars, your immediate environment, siblings, extended relatives, something coming up there. I'm thinking with the Scorpio 3rd house, there's some kind of information coming up. You're receiving maybe even something psychically. This is, a Scorpio mind is very mystical and psychic, or you're learning something. Something comes out, or you realize something that actually is going to help you move towards deepening or broadening your sense of spirituality. This has to do with, something that you need to pay attention to in your day-to-day routines, or, around your health even. So that can be psychological health. When you're talking about the mind, and expansion of that, and figuring out and learning what your connection to your spirituality is, or what your truth is, or gaining some kind of wisdom, This could be very emotional. Your Scorpio energy is super emotional, like I said, profound, very deep. In the house of communication and the mind and squaring Saturn, this is saying, pay attention to how you take care of your body and your mind, and what you do on a day-to-day basis that is actually going to hopefully help you move forward in an easier way. And there's something there that you may need to go back and rework, take care of, consider. All right, Libra rising. So Libra, this is happening in your second house of earned income, value, resources. And that can be anything you value, even your own personal value. Something is coming up, ending, something you need to let go of where that's concerned. Materially, that could mean a loss of money or earned income, or you could choose to set aside an income, a revenue stream, or you could decide, I'm not going to do this part of my job, I'm going to let this income go because I want to do something different. Maybe that's partnering with somebody. Value is also about emotional value, especially in Scorpio. So letting go of something that you emotionally value. There's a change there. There's something coming up to be transformed or dealt with. There's a letting go of in some way emotionally, something having to do with values or resources. Saturn is sitting in your 5th house, so that's creativity. This could be needing to go and put your ducks in a row and take care of issues so that you can actually create or put into place a creative project that you've been working on, and you want to partner with somebody. If it's more on the emotional level, maybe you're losing your income and it's going to be affecting children, 5th house children, or a romantic interest. Maybe you've overextended yourself for children or romantic interests, and now you're the 8th house. You got to figure out how to clear that out, because there's a lot of debt accumulated, or so maybe you're paying things off. 2nd house, letting go of earned income to create a more stable shared resources, right? So money you owe people, or people that owe you money. Again, remember the 2nd house, 8th house, yes, money, but 8th house is also karmic connections as well, and things coming up from up to clear there. Saturn and the South Node, the nodes in general, and Scorpio, very, very karmic and past life type things, or just past issues. So that is Libra rising. If you are a Scorpio rising, this is happening in your 1st house of the self. So something is coming up for you personally, about you personally, your physical body, your personality, your own emotions, how you interact with other people. Something coming up there, something is changing. This is probably profoundly emotional. Scorpios can be, or very intense, but definitely this South Node is looking for very deep change. And this, of course, affects your relationships with the North Node there in the 7th house of relationships and partnerships. So, Saturn squaring your 4th house of the home and family. There could be something going on there in your home and family, something from the past, something coming back up, or just being put, on your path that you have to deal with or take care of in some way. Saturn squaring the nodes, South Node where we're coming from, North Node where we want to go, and Saturn squaring is like, well, we missed something there. There's something that has to be taken care of here first. So 4th house of the home, family, could be your physical home, could be parents. So that's Scorpio rising. All right. So Sag rising. Your Sagittarius rising, this eclipse is happening in your 12th house. So this is what's hidden, your subconscious. This is, these are things that you're going to feel very, very deeply. This is it is deeply emotional eclipse for you, Sag. Also could be things coming up that you weren't aware of, things that were hidden, whether that be emotional baggage or trauma, or whether it actually be something, in your physical reality, maybe within a relationship or something going on that you weren't aware of, that comes up and really, really has a huge impact on you emotionally. Also, this could come to you in the form of dreams, maybe through meditation. Something coming up here, Sag, that is significant. You're wanting to create a more simple, comfortable day-to-day life, and really probably paying attention to your health here these days with the North Node in Taurus in your 6th house. So to do that, something is coming up to be cleared out so that you can accomplish that. And the Saturn is in your 3rd house, so it's making that square, saying, okay, well, you got to change the way you think, or what was it that you did or said, during this time in the past that you have to take responsibility for or rework before you can move into that. 3rd house is immediate neighborhoods, short trips, also siblings, something coming up there that is going to pull you back into, taking a trip down memory lane and sort of correcting or reworking or considering something so that you can move into a different daily routine. And it's kind of random, but of course, 3rd house is neighborhoods. It's also cars, though. I don't know. I see this 12th house South Node eclipse as being more significant than something like that. But there could be a short trip or something in your neighborhood or with a neighbor or sibling that could be involved that's actually pretty profound, or just something you didn't know about. I see this as a significant eclipse for Sag rising. All right. Capricorn rising. Capricorn rising, this eclipse is happening in your 11th house of community, friends. How you relate to people, organizations you might be involved in. Something is changing there. Something's coming to light there. Something maybe coming back from the past there. Something that everything is cause and effect, right? So some kind of interaction that you had, or some kind of involvement in an organization or somebody that you knew is coming up to be dealt with. This could be a surprise. This could also push you to completely transform and change, who you associate with, or, how you, relate to the people that you come in contact with. Could be related to career and money in some way, some kind of value. Saturn is there in the 2nd house of your values and resources, and you're wanting to move North Node in Taurus into something, the 5th house is the house of joy and creativity, children, romance. So you're wanting to establish something, a new beginning in that area of life in some way, and there's something about either recognizing or reworking your own personal value and how you thinking about, or something coming up in regards to how you related to somebody or an organization or somehow out there in the community coming up to be changed, that might be affecting your own personal value or your earned income in some way. Something you've got to deal with until you can move into more joy and pleasure in your life. So that is Capricorn rising. All right, Aquarius rising. Aquarius rising, this is happening in your 10th house of career and public image, right? So also, again, 10th house can represent parents, mother or father. something coming up. There's an ending potentially there in a career or reworking of a position. Maybe something comes out that has to do with your reputation or how people see you. Maybe with, like I said, a parent, a mother or a father, something changing, something that needs to be looked at, something ending possibly in that area of life for you. This is actually, Saturn is saying in the first house, okay, you need to take a look at your own personal actions and how you show up in the world, or how you have shown up in your relationships. What needs to be changed? What do you need to take accountability for in that area? Maybe it was something you weren't aware of, but it's something that you have to go back and, tidy up before you can move towards something more stable in your foundation. So South Node in the area of career, public image, and commitments. Again, maybe parents. All right. So last but not least, we have, sorry, because you guys can't see the chart, but I'm moving it around in the background so I can see where all of these, everything's hitting. I decided not to share it this time. Okay, so last but not least, we have Pisces Rising. Pisces Rising, this eclipse is happening in your 9th house of, of the higher mind. So this is your connection to your spirituality, your beliefs, your faith. 9th house also rules legal issues and justice. So, it could be something like that, higher learning, foreign lands, trips, something could be coming up around that. My best guess, because Saturn is in the 12th house and it's squaring this eclipse, is that this is something about your beliefs and what you have faith in, right? Something's changing there. You may be completely transforming, moving away from the faith and beliefs that you always had, and joining or doing something completely different, abandoning the old and wanting to put something new into place. And it could be as a result of being let down, right? Being let down. In the area of, where you've always had faith, or, what you've always believed was the right way to learn things, what you always thought justice and truth was, something coming up that's affecting you profoundly, possibly emotionally. Saturn is sitting in your 12th house, so this is squaring this eclipse, and, this is something that has probably saddled you down in your mind and emotionally, that you need to go back and clean out, cathartically, psychologically process and deal with, take care of yourself emotionally. Also, Saturn is the past, so something that you have to deal with and clear out from the past. Saturn is karmic, the nodes are karmic. My sense is that this is something coming from a past life, or just a past significant situation that has been blocking you in some way, and something comes to your awareness in terms of your faith and your belief that leads you there, and requires you to pay attention to your subconscious and your mind, and your deep feelings and sensitivities and fears, before you can actually, move into where you're trying to plant the seeds and go. The North Node's in your 3rd house, so this is about moving around or learning something new, or just, overall your mind and your perceptions. So significant eclipse for Pisces Rising. I see this as, deeply spiritual, soulful, and emotional, so hopefully you're doing well. Okay, so that is the eclipse for all of the rising signs. I hope everybody is doing well. Take good care of yourself. You might find sleep is, deep. If you're getting it, you either are or you aren't, right? It depends on your, your astro blueprint, what's going on in your life, your emotional makeup. Things could be coming through your dreams. This is a very psychic time, very significant time, very karmic time. We're talking about the past. We're talking about significant and emotional issues. So if this eclipse is hitting any of your sensitive angles or points in your chart, something could come up for you. If it hasn't already, I do think it's going to be fairly quickly, next couple of months at least. The coming up and the dealing and processing and transformation or ending is going to come up soon, and then, emotionally play out as you move through the transformation of that, in the next few months to a year potentially. So that is this eclipse. Let me know in the comments how all of you are doing, what's going on for you. If you want to take a look, like I said, at your transits for this eclipse, or anytime actually, head over to my website. They're 4444, can be applied to a full birth chart reading as long as it's done within 45 days. I'd love to meet you. jovesstar.com, jovesstar.com. Thank you for being here. My thoughts are with you. I will see you for the horoscopes. Keep an eye out for my Neptune video coming out here a little bit later. I'll see you soon, and in the meantime, may the stars forever be in your favor. Take good care. Bye.